Thank you for joining us, and if you have yet to subscribe to the channel, please do.
Yeah, we back at it. Because as y'all know, there's some updated information regarding the case of Zack Stoner.
So mind you, this was published 8 months ago. This story is 4 or 5 years ago. After summing up the witnesses, she was done with this topic. She went back to the Kanika Jenkins case and then went on doing whatever she was going to do from there. And then 8 months ago, she uploaded this updated Zack TV information. I wonder what made her stop back then. Back when she denied that YouTubers had any blood on their hands for the misinformation they putting out there that had real life implications. Let's see what her update's about.
The police conducted an interview with a guy that was in the car with Zack when all this went down. And this is what he had to say. Now, there's a lot of blanked out stuff in it, okay? But I'm going to summarize it for you.
No, we're not gonna summarize a summary already. We're gonna read this. Interview of blank stated he has been friends with blank, aka blank. He stated he did not want to go to the rap concert the night of the incident, but went because he wanted to support his friend. Blank stated the concert was going smoothly. Blank stated that while on stage, blank mentioned the blank in his rap song. Blank meaning the Chicago neighborhood associated with streets numbering the hundreds. Blank stated a group in the crowd with the blank appeared to get mad at the comment. Blank stated that the blank was on stage with several other males. Blank stated that after the blank group performed, blank went back on stage to wish his girlfriend a happy birthday. Sidebar, we know now that it was AMG Fresh's girlfriend's birthday. Blank stated the same group shouted, that bitch. Blank stated that he did not believe blank heard the remark. Blank stated he started to walk away to his vehicle. Blank stated his vehicle was parked on Clark Street near a Subway restaurant approximately 2 blocks south. Blank stated that Stoner kept insisting that everyone get in Stoner's vehicle. Blank stated he had a real bad feeling and got the chills. Blank described Stoner as sounding, we don't get the rest. She says worried.
So they left and they did what Zack asked them to do, and that was hop in the car with him. Okay? Now, it sounds like Zack is trying to protect them.
Sounds like that, right? Pretty much the story AMG Bell tells. AMG Bell D tells the story that Zack was trying to save everybody. That Zack was abreast and aware of what was going on while everybody else was doing their thing. He was on point. On point enough to know that they needed to get out of there.
That's what it sounded like to me. He thought he was doing them a favor by having them ride with him. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. I never felt that Zack was the intended target. And so when we put T Street's name out there and this, that, and the other, a lot of people was mad at us for doing so. But now, after listening to the details, I'm still convinced that Zack was not the intended target.
So you just totally gave up accountability for bringing up T Street's name and saying people was mad at you, and now you just moving on to your next theory. This is what I'm talking about, you clowns.
A lot of people was mad at us for doing so.
Rightfully so. Mad at you right now.
I'm still convinced that Zack was not the intended target.
You still convinced, but what that got to do with T Streets? Now you just changing your theory. Okay, it wasn't T Streets, but Zack wasn't the intended target. According to you, Zack was the intended target, and T Street targeted him. Yo, y'all wildin'. People were mad at us when we put T Streets on there, right? She can't walk that back. She lives with it every day, because mind you, that was so many years ago. Here we are 8 months ago. She's like, people were mad. Nah, I think you feel a little guilt. You should feel a little guilt. Now that I hear more information, I still think Zack wasn't the intended target. Well, what does that even mean? What that got to do with T Streets? You saying T Streets was the intended target? Do you know that? Does that make what y'all did any better? Does it make it easier for you? Sounds ridiculous to me. You still standing on something, you just don't know what you're standing on. Blank stated he went to his vehicle, a Chevy Impala, and retrieved a handgun. Stated he had a really bad feeling that he couldn't explain and felt he may need to defend himself of his friends. I think they meant defend himself or his friends. Jeez, spell check. Blank stated he went back to Stoner's car. Blank's girlfriend had exited Stoner's vehicle, which is consistent with what AMG Bell D said. Exited Stoner's vehicle. Blank sat down in the front passenger seat of Stoner's vehicle. Blank stated he was looking in the direction of Stoner and observed a silver minivan approach. Again, can this be the tan or gold minivan? Blank stated that he felt the events were happening in slow motion. Blank stated the front passenger window and the middle passenger side window were down. Blank stated he observed a male black with a dark complexion wearing a blue or powder blue t-shirt holding a Glock with an extended magazine. Blank stated that this individual pointed the Glock out the middle passenger side window. Blank stated he heard and saw a lot of gunshots but didn't know how many. Blank stated he believed the front passenger was shooting a handgun also, but he wasn't sure and was focused on the middle passenger side. Blank stated he was grazed 4 times by bullets. Blank stated he had a graze wound to his right armpit, right hip, left hip, and shoulder. Blank stated he ducked in his seat, removed his handgun from his pants, and returned fire through the front windshield of Stoner's vehicle. Blank stated he knew Stoner carried a handgun, but neither Blank nor Stoner had their handguns out when the shooting began. As soon as they got in the car, they should have lapped him. Blank stated he and his friends were scared that the minivan was gonna circle the block and fire at them again. Blank stated he was in a state of shell shock and fled the scene in Blank's girlfriend's vehicle. Blank stated that he regretted leaving the scene but felt they needed to leave to be safe. This sounds consistent with the story I heard from AMG Bell D.
We assumed that somebody was shooting into the car from the front, like into the windshield. But now, what we're learning is that those bullet holes in the windshield came from somebody that was actually in the car with Zack. And this guy that's being interviewed shot out through the windshield. You had Zack's Jeep, you had a 4-door Chevrolet, and then you had a Chrysler Pacifica minivan. And that minivan is the car that the shooters were in.
But I thought for sure it was the black Chevy. Didn't you tell me that? And I thought for sure you weren't convinced that the tan van had anything to do with it, from what I recall.
But I'm wondering if the Chevrolet belonged to the guy that was just interviewed.
Absolutely, quite possibly.
How about this? The shooters that was in the minivan, do y'all know that it was a rental? They rented that car from Hertz.
What do you mean? You act like you're revealing things to people now when you didn't even care about this van when it all went down. As far as you were concerned, you saw it all. And we are finding out that there was a van that was rented, per usual. And now did you know? You didn't know. You would have known if you'd have waited. But you didn't wait. You ran your mouth. T Streets died.
And I was like, so y'all gonna do all this in the rental? I mean, it just didn't make sense to me, y'all.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense to you. Ask about the kids that did Triple X Tentacion. See if they didn't rent a van to just go out and hit licks all day. It's exactly what they did. It's more proof you don't know what you're talking about.
And I'm still asking questions. But I'm still going through these reports, and y'all know how I'm about to do.
How you about to do? You're about to do nothing.
And y'all know how I'm about to do. I'm about to break down these details.
You're about to tell a bunch of lies, a bunch of cognitive distortion.
A lot of what we suspected is what's being pointed out in this police report.
A lot of what you suspected is what's being pointed out in these police reports. At one point, you suspected everything, even a ghost in the dark.
Again, now, we all know T Streets ended up losing his life on the day of Zack's funeral. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. Like I said before, I did not believe Zack was the intended target. And I know some people speculated that Zack was killed because of Kanika and this, that, and the other. But this proves that he wasn't.
What does? What proves that he wasn't? The fact that there was tension in the club? Yeah, they were all the intended target. But you have to make yourself feel better about blaming T Streets. Because now, since you went from the guys was out there shooting them to T Streets set him up to T Streets was the intended target, so he was responsible for Zack's death. You doing anything to make yourself feel better.
That his death had absolutely nothing to do with Kanika. And again, he wasn't the intended target. I believe T Streets was.
And you were wrong there too, because AMG Bell D, clear as day, says AMG Fresh was the one they had a problem with. And he explained that it wasn't like they had something lingering, it was something that happened that night. But AMG Fresh didn't even have to be aware of what it was for it to be about him. So AMG Fresh was the intended target. You still talking, you still running your mouth. 8 months ago, still running your mouth.
And they caught up with him too. I feel like Zack lost his life trying to save them.
You feel like that? Now, in 2023, total opposite of all of the things you were saying back then.
Let me finish going through all these reports because I got all of it.
Shut up.
I'm gonna need y'all to stick with me, ride with me. I'll be back.
Please don't. Now that AMG Bell D did an interview, he shed a little bit more light on this.
That really he had a relationship with us just off the strength of me. You know what I'm saying? Right. And him and Fresh had their shit going on, and he went down there to really, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Help folks them, you know what I'm saying, to promote what they had going on, and he overheard saying what they was gonna do to him, and he was stopping that shit. Mm-hmm. But a lot of don't know this. Mm-hmm. He stopped us from getting on the stage and fucking up Fresh performance. A lot of don't know that either.
We talking about Zack right now?
Zack TV.
Yeah.
He heard saying what they was about to do to Fresh and who out the Bam in the third, and he.
So evidently, Zack had been peeping everything all night. I guess kind of thwarting an attempt for them to get on the stage and ruin Buddy's show, which is something that happens. Yeah, they should have got out of there. They should have just got out of there.
Told them like, nah, we ain't here for that. You know what I'm saying? They was about to get on the stage and Zack stopped them like, please don't do this. People don't know this though. Zack left a little early before the show ended, so he can be outside on the front waiting for Fresh. When Fresh came out, he was telling Fresh get his ass in the car, but it was Fresh girl's birthday. He drunk as he, you know what I'm saying, T. Him and his girl, the only one went together. You know what I'm saying? Fresh ain't had nobody with him, just him and his girl. And Zack was telling him to get in the car, showed him his pipe and everything, like, no, get your ass in the car, own that with you, like, you know what I'm saying?
Zack had a pipe on
him? Went. Yeah, Zack had a pipe on him. Mm-hmm. Zack had a pipe on him, gang. He showed Fresh his pipe and told Fresh, get your ass in the car, because Fresh thought it was a game. And supposedly saying Fresh getting up in that car.
That's the problem with alcohol, doing your job, being in the entertainment business, being in Chicago, being from the streets, out there doing street things, and you off your square. You high, you drunk, you don't know what's happening. Somebody's telling you to take it serious, you can't take it serious. You don't know what's happening till the gun rings out and then you sober real quick.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's what made them get on that car. But on the recording, the only thing you see is Fresh and them getting their shits out the car, you know what I'm saying, and getting back up in his, you know what I'm saying? That's what see on the recording, so that looked fishy. It was never no shooting on the recording that, you know what I'm saying, that the world seen. They never know the truth because motherfuckers weren't looking for the truth, but, you know what I'm saying? So coming out.
And the problem with the story is that these videos are so segmented. There's no chronological order, documented, archived information. It was just thrown around. It was thrown around from that day. The week that Zack passed away, that was crazy. Like everything that was going on with T Streets, it was crazy. It didn't make no sense.
Out to this day, but
so it sounded like Fresh had something going on. And Zack suffered the consequences of what he had going on.
No.
Okay.
It wasn't that. Fresh ain't never have shit going on.
You said it was people that was approaches Fresh on stage and Zack was stopping it.
This what I forgot to say. They said that's dude that be fucking with the BDs. You know what I'm saying? I ain't know what BDs they was talking about, you know what I'm saying? But that's what they said too. Zack had a chance to let Fresh know all this. They should have left. When Zack took them to the car, Zack chose to tell them what was going on then, instead of getting to the hundreds and let them know, or called them. He got to the car, they made it to Fresh car and parked right in front of it. You know what I'm saying? And Zack chose to let them sit in the Fresh girl was in the front seat. T Streets and Fresh was in the back seat. And she hopped out the car when they pulled up and got in their car and started it. And Zack chose to tell them the little that he was telling them right then and there instead of leaving. Zack TV died saving Fresh, bro.
Okay.
When it all boils down.
Right.
Didn't nobody make Zack do nothing. Everybody was Fresh didn't even know nothing was going on. Because Zack didn't allow it. You see what I'm saying? But Zack had a chance to let them know the shit that I'm telling you now. On everything.
Say Zack TV died Saving
Fresh. Yeah.
Wow. That's
Fresh
deep.
made a rap about it. You know what I'm saying? He even said it. You know what I'm saying?
When Zack TV died, it was definitely a major L for the city of Chicago.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? As a whole, you know what I mean? Zack had made waves all throughout America. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People were really, tuning in to him as the Chirac blogger. You know what I'm saying? The insight. Me personally, I'd have been out to New York and I'd have had New Yorkers tell me like, yeah, we was listening to the music, but Zack showed us what was really going on with y'all. Like this what the people saying. You know what I mean? It's one thing to be like reading comments on the internet. It's another thing to actually like hear it. You know what I mean? When you done caught a flight, you know what I mean? It hit different.
Zack was a real. Zack was big on safety.
You're gonna hear a lot of that. A lot of testaments to Zack's character.
If you know Zack, you will know that he big when it come to being safe. When he first came to the Gardens, that's all he did was heard about what was going on out there in the hood. Like, he never did an interview in the Garden. So he asked me more than 5 times, is I'm straight? Is I'm gonna be safe?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he big on safety. Like, but I knew him before this. Like, but me and Zack never came to kick it with me and none of that shit. Like,
right.
And I know I ain't the first Zack asked that. Like, and I feel as though, bro, if it was somebody else, Zack would have just left. You see what I'm saying? This how much love Zack had for artists when it came to the hundreds. Especially his hood, 10-5. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He had love, bro. Like, and 10-5 and State Boys, that's T Streets and them, they had something going on, like they was together. I could take you to interviews showing you, bro, that they was together. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know both people from both sets. Like, all the weird started happening after Zack TV death, gang.
All the weird shit, and I think the weird shit is all the accusations that got put on T Streets. And nobody talks about dude no more. The streets is dead. The world lives on the internet and none of it's real. Y'all will sit here, call somebody names, put accusations and allegations on people, ask for paperwork. When you get the paperwork, the answer ain't never good enough for you. So there's no accountability. Probably cost a man his life. Probably cost some kids their daddy.
You know what I'm saying? It was just a lot of he say, she say. Ain't know the truth, you know what I'm saying? But truth coming out, just watch the internet. The internet will tell you everything, gang. But the only thing I'm gonna speak on is that T Streets and Fresh ain't have to do with that. You know what I'm saying? Was trying to kill Fresh, and that came from
saying it out loud in 2023. I watched the internet prosecute T Streets. I watched him walk the streets trying to clear his own name. Watched him walk in a police station to try to clear his name and then get judged for that too. Like what you want him to do at this point. Like, and then what happens? The truth comes out. It's nothing like the conspiracy theory that y'all goofballs wrote, and you get to back up into the bushes and take no accountability for it. You get to delete your videos, your comments, all of that. You should try shutting the up before all of that happened.
Zack TV himself and the that was trying to get down on Fresh. You know what I'm saying? That's how that went, gang.
I appreciate you for joining us. If you have yet to subscribe to the channel, please do.